Hi, this is Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life. I'm in our headquarters today. It started in the grassroots right outside there, praying in front of this Planned Parenthood abortion facility. It is now one of the 116 facilities in the world that have closed as a result of 40 Days for Life. And it's built in the grassroots. It's in touch with women going in for abortions, women who come out after having an abortion. You know, we're the last sign of hope for the baby as the women go into the facility, but we're also the first sign of mercy when they're leaving the facility. We actually care about hearts and minds. And in 2020, America went through two viruses. Number one, the coronavirus, which I know everyone is tired of talking about. But number two, another virus of this stupid, disingenuous corporate wokeness. And it has now invaded the overturning of Roe versus Wade with these often male CEOs reacting to the overturning of Roe v. Wade by saying, we will pay for our women employees to travel and have an abortion. And it just shows how disconnected they are with women. And also with women who are seeking an abortion. The average woman, before she has an abortion, tells one person. She doesn't tell her parents, she doesn't tell her pastor, she doesn't often tell many of her friends. She tells the person that often has to drive her there. And many don't drive her there. I've seen a lot of taxi cabs in the parking lots of Planned Parenthood abortion facilities. It's a very sad scene. They don't want to tell anyone. Do these idiotic CEOs think that these women who feel so trapped that they have to have an abortion and now travel across the country to have it are gonna tell their stinking HR director or their boss that they're gonna have an abortion? These CEOs are imagining something where they're just like giving them the $7,000 to travel to another state, and the woman walks out with her, with her head high, and everybody's saying, "You go, girl." That ain't how abortion works. That's not their demeanor when they get out of their cars to come in. No one grows up wanting to have an abortion. And the idea, number one, that, hey, it's a lot cheaper to just pay for her abortion than to give her, maternity leave. That's sort of the greed, obnoxious side of it. But it's also the side that's often it's not the money. Women find the money to have an abortion. They don't want the world knowing they're doing it. So I just think it's such virtue signaling. I know some women will take their bosses, up on it, but most won't. Because number one, we know from statistics, distance is a deterrent. And so many women just won't travel to California and have an abortion. The other fallout that these corporations are gonna have are the lawsuits. So Sally gets money to go to New Jersey to have her abortion, but Jessica's kid has leukemia and needs special surgery in Houston. Are they gonna reimburse that travel expense? Are they gonna reimburse, when a male employee or a female employee has to go somewhere for heart surgery? What about if somebody's kid is sick? What about if somebody's having a baby and they're in the NICU for an extra month and they can't return to work? Are they gonna pay for that? It's gonna be a legal disaster. We've heard that from a lot of lawyers, but it's encouraging because it shows they hear Roe v. Wade is overturned. They do this with everything. They do it with racism, they do it with the homophobic stuff, the transphobic stuff. They just stand up and say, we support fill in the blank, whatever whatever flag is flying that day. But this is the most just disingenuous, like, I'll pay for your abortion. It's a very shameful thing. And I don't think a lot of women are gonna take them up on it because of the human heart. I know that often gets left out of the discussion, but believe it or not, women aren't proud of their abortion. They're not proud to raise their fist and say that they had one, and it's not gonna be something that they're gonna be leaping into their HR director's office to tell them about so that they can get a check. It just doesn't work like that on the actual front lines. But it should be encouraging to you because it's yet another example we've seen in these last few weeks since Roe was overturned with how one side is just completely out of touch with this issue. We see it from Planned Parenthood, who's often completely out of touch with the women they claim to be serving, saying, oh, abortion's no big deal. It's a big deal to the women that have an abortion. It's a very big deal. But they say, oh, it's no big deal. It's a right, no exceptions, blah, blah, blah. And now we see the disconnect of those who are trying to discuss abortion and just turn to violence. And now we see the disconnect with the corporations saying, well, how's this? We'll pay for your abortion so you can get back to work. Aren't we compassionate? And it's why Roe was overturned. It's why we're correcting this 50-year error. It's why the Supreme Court said we're getting out of the dehumanization business. And it's why we're winning at the grassroots, because we seek hearts and minds, not profits, not wokeness, not virtue signaling, but hearts, minds, and souls. So be encouraged. It's yet another example of why we're winning.